Hey folks, anyone check the forums lately? Absolutely nothing but suggestions about what the new servers coming out in May should be. Got a hint for you. It's highly likely they've already decided what they're releasing a while ago, so this is not that type of video. Instead, I'm going to cover 5 general improvements, which I think are all new ideas and all new servers should have. Apologies if someone came up with one of these in 2008 and posted it in your guild webpage forums. Okay, first one. Put fellowships in the game at launch. These things have 2 features and would just be so good in improved gameplay. First, once you place a campfire with 3 people in your fellowship, anyone in your fellowship can port there. So many good uses for that. And second, you can share experience with other members of the fellowship. It's a little arcane how it works, but some genius might write up a tutorial about that, so have faith. If personas are going to be a thing, being able to give them rested experience bonus would also be super beneficial. Second, remember what a pain trade skills are early on? Just so few options to level stuff up with, and what there are has you doing moronic stuff like picking up ground spawns in Greater Fae and then finding an alchemist to make the stuff to even do the combines. Yuck. So starting with, I believe it's Dragons of Norath, there's this neat system called Cultural Armor, and it has a bunch of combines that are super simple to level, in particular smithing and tailoring up with. These components do drop off lower level mobs, but only later, so just turn those on at launch and let the trade skills fly. Third, early era's itemization is pretty garbage. Any druids want a plus INT bracer? Luckily, Daybreak has already implemented a fix for this called Defiant Armor that they should turn on earlier. Now, I'm not going full OP mode here with tons of heroic stats, but just adding a few pieces of lower level Defiant onto Mark of the Mighty mobs on early expansions would be a huge improvement. Classic can get Simple Defiant, Kunark Rough Defiant, and Velius Ornate Defiant. Hell, casters would even have gear in Kunark then. Hooray! Fourth, we really need to talk about the unlock schedules of these servers. If you look at Oakwind, the most recent launch we've had, and taking into account there will be some new expansions as it goes along, they're looking at a merge into live in 2029. So that's a 6-year voyage at this point. Pretty ridiculous in my opinion, and I imagine most of the people who wanted that type of adventure have probably taken it or are in the later stages of completing it already. I see you, Finnegal, Cornav, etc. So what should they do to improve the game on this front? Well, servers should either be more traditional and expansion lock, dumping into Agnar or something similar, for example. Those types of servers can even have slower unlocks. Or, if they're a quote-unquote taking it to live type server, a speed run with greatly increased loot drops and experience gains. P.S. Absolutely not like Celos with reduced unlocks. The vast majority of players are going to favor increased loot rather than reduced lockouts. They want a game, not a job. I personally liked how the reduced lockouts and increased loot worked on Vanicky, but there's many different ways you could implement that as something reasonable. Okay, last but not least, enable PvP. Big caveat here, not everywhere. The best way to enable PvP is to just flag it turned on in picks in some zones. For example, Sebelis, Siren's Grotto, and Dragon Necropolis would be a good place to start. That'll serve a couple functions. First, people who just want to mess around with EQ's broken PvP system can have a place to do it. I hear there's dozens of them. Second, since Daybreak doesn't have the competence to police its TOS, it'll give the players who care about the AFK bots in those zones some extra content to farm. I'm not really interested in EQ PvP myself, but I'd probably attend a few pre or post guild raid night raids on those zones. Alright, that's all I've got for now. Hope the devs were listening, and good luck out there everyone.